Next, we'll hear from candidates running for the role of president, and I'll hand back over to Rachel to introduce the candidates for the role and the role itself.
Thank you, George. So I might be biased, I've been looking forward to this category. RUSU President is responsible for ensuring all decisions reached by RUSU have gone through the democratic processes as laid out in the Constitution and bylaws. The President is also responsible for leading on external affairs, liaising with the National Union of Students, and will lead on RUSU's democracy initiatives such as Change It and Student Voice. This year we have 3 candidates for running for this role. They are Matt Vallender, Ben Knowles and Lily Adley. Candidates will be spotlighted in that order, and they will be given 2 minutes to introduce themselves, their manifesto, and answer the following 3 questions. Democracy is a key part of the President's role. What plans do you have to boost engagement with RUSU's democratic processes? What strategy will you take to ensure transparency in the communications between RUSU and the students? And as President, you will lead RUSU on sustainability. What ideas do you have to make the organisation more sustainable? So Matt, you'll be first. Matt, your time will start once you unmute your microphone and begin talking. I'll hold up this sign when you have 30 seconds left, more like. We will unfortunately have to cut you off if you go over 2 minutes. So whenever you're ready.
Cool. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Vallender. I've been involved with RUSU throughout my time at university, both as a student voice representative, and I've been involved with several societies. One of my main manifesto points is to relaunch Freshers Week, because it's undeniable that COVID's meant none of us had the year that we'd planned. The government's announced all adults can be offered a first dose of the vaccine by the end of July, so it's really, really promising that we can do this. And I want to make Freshers 2021 the biggest set of events yet, and make sure that events are held across both campuses, getting the uni bars involved too. To address the questions I was asked more specifically, my manifesto provides a plan to boost engagement with RUSU's democratic processes by reforming student voice into a strong and relevant council. It's going to have the power to launch its own initiatives and mandate things for the RUSU officers, rather than being the toothless stepping stone in the current process that it actually is. To make RUSU more sustainable, I want to tackle food waste by partnering RUSU with Too Good To Go, a company that allows you to take your surplus food, put it into surprise goodie bags and sell them at a cheap price at the end of each day. This is going to reduce food waste, provide cheap food to students, and reduce the loss that RUSU has to shoulder. I know we're already partnered with a food waste company called Olio, but this partnership will increase the scope and allow us to reach even more students than we would otherwise reach. I'd also be very keen to work with whichever environment officer that's elected, because I think they're all going to support this, to reduce plastic packaging in RUSU, ideally to none. And we're not just going to focus on plastic cups because they're the most visible and flashiest form of plastic waste. I want to tackle this across the board. I'm also very aware that the current president, Rachel, promised to introduce clothes swaps, and Corona's unfortunately stopped that from becoming a reality. So I'd be very keen to make sure that still happens by introducing it next year. The third question surrounding transparency and communications, part of the role of president is to represent the London Road campus, and I aim to do this by holding regular office hours there to ensure the views of students based there are heard at the top of RUSU. I'd also like to commit to both an open door policy where I'll take meetings from and respond to any student who gets in contact, as well as regular, maybe weekly, perhaps email and social media updates of what the RUSU faculty officers have been up to, and where it isn't confidential, to include updates from the trustee board as well. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to put it in your calendar and vote Matt Vallender for RUSU President.
Thank you. Next up, we have Ben. Again, once you're spotlighted and you're ready to talk, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Ben, a third-year chemist. Over 3 years of working in RUSU, I've seen what our union does well and what should be improved upon. Becoming president would enable me to implement some major changes to your union so that it can work better for you, primarily focusing on safety, with first aid training with emphasis on mental health support, using anti-pathogenic plastics on frequent touch points to reduce germ transmission, and working with Reading buses, who I've worked with previously in a different project, to introduce a service from outside of the union to the off-campus halls and main student areas, meaning late at night you don't have to walk home when events are on. I'll also be campaigning the university to introduce any standard of content procedure where all materials must meet a verified standard prior to publication, along with streamlining the extension process, as I really believe this should be on Blackboard and not really on RISIS. To boost engagement with RUSU's democratic process, I intend to raise awareness by advertising both the Change It campaigns and student voice debates virtually, such as on ticket sales for events. I feel that many students just simply lack awareness of these processes, particularly among the newest students. Raising awareness on platforms such as Eventbrite, for example, which students have to use to purchase event tickets, this will enable RUSU to drastically boost engagement quickly and effectively, as students have no choice but to use that platform. Don't have to follow the conventional social medias where these democratic processes normally show. I enjoy interacting with students, and it's the aspect I've most enjoyed about working at RUSU so far. I intend to continue this level of interaction with my collaborative communications policy, providing weekly personal updates on what your union is doing. I will be running at least once a week. I will be inside our union so that anyone can turn up, no appointment required, and just talk in person with issues or suggestions you have, as I want the role of president to be more visible. We'll continue our relationship with Olio, a company that takes excess food for free and then shares it with their members and I will also introduce compostable cornstarch-based plastic cups, replacing the thousands of single-use plastic ones we currently use every single union night, really easily and quickly.
I cut you off there, Ben.
That's fine.
Thank you. Next up, we have Lily. Lily, same again. Once you've been spotlighted, and you'll begin talking, the timer will begin. So whenever you're ready.
Okay, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Fab. Hi, my name's Lily and I'm running to be RUSU President. I just want to start by saying I've listened to some amazing candidates tonight. It'd be a pleasure to work with any of you. I'm currently in my first year of studying biomedical science, and I'm currently the president of RUSU Society. I have two main points in my manifesto. The first of which is to continue COVID measures that have already been put in place by the current RUSU officers. This includes refunding accommodation costs where necessary, and also keeping facilities on campus open for those students who are living away from home. The second point in my manifesto is to increase accessibility on campus, particularly in older buildings for LGBTQ+ students and disabled students, in particular installing disabled and gender-neutral toilets. To boost engagement, I would like to introduce a half-termly online newsletter to be distributed to all members by email, keeping them up to date with all things RUSU. This is incredibly important as many students are currently not on campus. This will complement the existing channels of communication already in place. The online newsletter I've already mentioned will help to ensure transparency, but I would also like to create an Ask a Question page on the RUSU website for students who have any kind of query, whether it be society fees or suggestions about how RUSU is run. In addition, my email inbox will always be open. Building on RUSU's current sustainability policy, I have two main ideas that I would like to investigate further. The first of which is to switch to the Ecosia search engine. The idea has already been submitted to the library, but using it in the RUSU building will further decrease the organisation's carbon footprint. The second of my ideas is potentially to switch to LED or low energy light bulbs. I wish everyone the best of luck.
Thank you. I will now hand over to George for the next section.
Thank you, Rachel. As before, I will now read you 3 questions that have been pre-submitted by students who have 1 minute to answer all 3 questions, and we'll go through candidates in reverse order. I'll read the questions through twice to give you the chance to make a note of them. The questions are as follows. How will you maintain a strong relationship with the university while still representing the student voice? What event ideas do you have to enhance the student experience once students start to return to campus? How will you best represent Reading students at a national level? So once again, those were, how will you maintain a strong relationship with the university while still representing the student voice? What event ideas do you have to enhance the student experience once students start to return to campus? How will you best represent Reading students at a national level? And first up, we have Lily. You'll have a minute to answer, and I'll start the timer once you've been spotlighted and began talking. And you've already been spotlighted, so
Okay.
when you're ready.
So I'll start with the representing students nationally. So this year I was elected to attend the NUS conference to represent the university. I campaigned for that, so I have a lot of skills through training for that and both campaigning for that, so I would be able to apply those skills as RUSU President. Student experience after return, I would ensure to do polls and speak to my fellow students about the things they would like to see and the things that they miss most, especially being president of a society. I've seen the impact it's had on numbers of students joining societies. And to maintain a relationship with the university, I would ensure to, with the transparency thing, I would make sure I published what was going on the Facebook pages, and also keep in contact with them regularly. Thank you.
Perfect timing. That's your minute. Thanks, Lily, for that answer. For the answer, sorry. Next up, we have Ben. Once you've been spotlighted, Ben, we'll start the timer once you begin talking. You've already been spotlighted, so when you're ready.
In order to maintain strong relationships, I will have regular meetings with uni management, so Vice Chancellor, if possible, and these would be transparent, so scripted, not scripted, minutes taken, and these would be published onto the President's page so people can actually see what's happening. Ideas for starting freshers as what it will be. I've been on the bars for a couple of years, so I know one, I want to redo the menu, 3 for 10 plates offer, things like that, so we get a right variety right off the offset and stuff that we can change constantly, and just general events. I mean, and we've seen what Twitter can do with Dick and Don before, so there's no reason why we can't get more people in if we rally the students together. And represent RUSU at a national level. I will actively try and build relationships with other student unions so that we can collaborate, especially more local ones like Surrey, so that we can just sort of build up better relationships, and any issues that affect ours can be made national, which raises awareness, which can hopefully solve problems.
And perfect timing, as I had to cut you off there anyway. Thanks, Ben, for the answer. Last but certainly not least, we have Matt. Once you've been spotlighted, Matt, we'll start the timer once you begin talking. You've already been spotlighted, so when you're ready.
Hi, can you hear me again? Just checking it's
Yep.
okay now. Anything. So for the student experience on campus, I've already briefly set out about my plans to relaunch Freshers in 2021. And having worked on the Halls Bars team this year, I really feel that we have a great opportunity coming back from coronavirus to bring both sides of the campus commerce together like that and get everybody involved in a very big 2-week event across all the bars and RUSU. Regarding a strong relationship with the uni, while still repping the student voice, I think it's very important that we listen and we remain responsive. And I've already set out that how I'd be transparent and make sure that you all knew what the RUSU full-time officers were up to. So I think it's very important that we present these to people like the Vice Chancellor and get them involved when we negotiate things like potential tuition fee refunds or rent rebates like they've had in Halls, or getting his support for the something similar to the £500 payment that they've had in Northern Ireland. Regarding repping uni students at a national level, again, that's very, very similar. It is all about hearing your voice and taking your concerns all the way up to the top to NUS.
I'm going to have to cut you off there, Matt. Thank you for the answer. That concludes all the candidates in President. Thank you again. Thank you to everyone for the answers. A reminder that you can check out more about the candidates by heading to our website. Remember to vote for your favorites from tomorrow onwards.